we will draw isometric view of the object shown in this figure. For drawing isometric view, we will select this corner as origin of the isometric coordinate system, so that this surface becomes iso left plane and this surface becomes iso right plane. So we start with channel like structure, and this will sketch in iso left plane. As it is in iso left plane only. You can see here, this is iso left plane. So start with line command, click on line, click, go down by 60 millimeters, then to the right by 90 millimeters, then up by 60 millimeters, to the left by 20 millimeters, down by 40 millimeters, to by 50 millimeters, then up by 40 millimeters, and to the left by 20 millimeters. So that is the front face of this channel. Okay. And the rear face of this channel is at a distance of 80 millimeters. So we will draw a line from this point in the iso right plane. So right plane 80 millimeters. Enter. Now we will copy this line, this front face, to the end of this line. So go to copy, select by included angle, selection completed, base point is this point and destination point is end of this line. Come out of the copy command. Now draw lines here. To draw lines from this end to this end, we will copy this line. So go to copy this line, selection completed, base point is end point of this, destination point is this, end of this, end of this line, end of this line, intersection point, no problem, and to the end of this line. Enter. Now we'll remove unwanted lines, delete this line and this line, then trim some of the lines, trim, select all, trim this line, and this line, delete this line. So that is channel. Now at the center of this channel there is a hole of 30 millimeter diameter. This hole will be seen as an ellipse in isometric view. So to locate the center of that ellipse, we need to draw a line here from the midpoint of this to a distance of 40 millimeters. So line, can make it a little bigger. Okay. When you bring the cursor here, you must get the midpoint. Yeah, that is the midpoint. And in the iso right plane a distance of 40 millimeters. So that end of that line will be the center for the ellipse. Now we'll draw ellipse there. Ellipse. This is not any ellipse, but it is an isocircle. So right click, select isocircle, and then center of that circle is end of this line, and radius of this must be in top plane. So go to iso top plane, okay, and radius of this is 15 millimeters, and come out of the command. Okay. Now only this small portion of the ellipse will be visible, hole will be visible, and rest of this is not visible. So we need to trim it. Trim, select all, trim this portion, and this portion. And as you can see, the top edge is only a small portion of the top edge of the hole is visible. So through the opening the base edge will not be visible, so there is no need to draw it. But however, we have drawn an extra line here. We will delete that line. Go to delete, select this and right click. So that is the hole created at the center. Now we have to add this portion. So this is at a distance of 40 millimeters from here. The center is located. First we draw this rectangle, and then with the center we'll draw the ellipse there. So line. Now we have to draw it in the top plane. So top plane is already there. From the end of this line, 40 millimeters, then 80 millimeters, then 40 millimeters. Enter. Now with this as center, we must draw isoellipse. Ellipse, right click, isocircle from the midpoint of this, radius is 40 mm, come out of the command. Then we must draw another ellipse to represent the whole of diameter 40 mm. So circle, isocircle with this as center, radius is 20 mm, come out of the command. Then we must trim unwanted portion of the outer ellipse. Trim, select all, trim this portion, and then we must remove this line also, which is not required. Delete this line. Okay. Now this is the top face of this portion. Now we have to draw the bottom face of this. So to do that, we copy this down. So copy, select this object and the ellipse, selection complete, and we must move it in iso right plane. Base point is this point. Move down by 20 millimeter. Enter. And some portion of the bottom edge will not be visible, so we need to remove that. Delete, this line, come out of the delete command, then draw a common tangent to these ellipses to mark the outline of this curved surface. So go to line command. Here if you don't, you are getting the quadrant option there. To the quadrant here, come out of the command. Now go to trim, select all, trim this portion, this and this portion. So this portion of the ellipse not visible, like this. Enter. Now there are two unwanted lines here. Delete this line, come out of the command, and then trim, select all, trim this portion, enter. So that completes the drawing of isometric view of the object shown here. Dimensioning of this can be done in another session. So save this first, save, okay, and then